Hello and welcome to the Law Podcast, brought to you by the University of Stirling Law Society. I am your host, Jedd. Today I am delighted to be joined by Hayley McAdam to discuss studying your first year of the LLB degree online and what it's like living in student accommodation during the coronavirus pandemic. So hi Hayley, thank you very much for coming on.
Hi Jedd, thank you so much. I'm delighted to take part.
Oh good, I'm glad to hear it. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Good, just getting on with uni work and things. How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm the same as you. It's that kind of business end of the semester where there's exams coming up, so it's stressful.
And it's deadlines and deadlines, but yeah.
I know. So yeah, for everyone listening, could you just give us a brief introduction as to your background today and how you landed here at Stirling?
Yeah, so my name's Hayley. I'm 21 years old. I'm from a little village called Lesmahago. The closest town to it's probably Lanark or Lark Hall. Most people know the areas. So when I left high school, I went to City Glasgow College and completed a HND in Legal Services. That was fantastic. After that, I started the BA at Stirling University. So I done that for 1 year last year. Then I decided I'd like to go into the LLB. So that's how I've got to where I am just now.
Fantastic. I love to hear from people who've done the HND at City of Glasgow, because I did the 2-year HND as well, and it was a really good experience for me. I think that was a really good confidence booster for me when I came into the LLB.
Definitely is. Yeah, you feel you've already got a bit of foundation knowledge, and it does build your confidence going into because it's hardcore work doing the LLB, so it builds your confidence.
And have you got any favourite lecturers, any favourite classes from City of Glasgow?
I would probably have to say Jason Graham.
Yeah, good old Jason.
And I like John McInarlin as well.
John's class as well. Man, I always try and keep up to date with them on LinkedIn and stuff and see what they're doing, because they're a couple of great guys. And the full department over there is great, and they really do provide you with, like you say, really good foundation knowledge. And once you get to university and you're studying the LLB, you're kind of surprised to say, oh, I've actually studied most of this at college, even though it doesn't go into as much detail. You still do have the basics there, so it really does help you when you get to that stage and you're studying like contract and you think, oh, I've already covered some of this stuff, and you have the confidence to push on, which I think was very beneficial for me. I don't know if that was the same for you.
Yeah, definitely. I would say it has definitely set me up in good stead for starting the LLB. It's the little foundation things that are the first hurdle, and you've already got over that first hurdle, so you're already there halfway. So it's really good.
So you said that you studied the BA for 1 year and then now you've started the LLB. Was there a reason why you chose the BA first of all and then moved?
The reason why I chose the BA first of all was because I wasn't 100% sure I wanted to be a solicitor or do the LLB degree, which was just solely focused on law. At one point I decided that I kind of wanted to go into the police and down that route. So I thought, oh, I'll do the BA, and I've done modules like sociology and psychology and things like that. And obviously they go hand in hand for the police. But once I'd done the law modules in the BA, I definitely changed my mind and decided that it was LLB that I wanted to focus on.
That's great, because I mean, I was looking at studying the BA, and I'm like yourself. I wasn't too sure if I wanted to be a solicitor, and there does seem to be quite a difference between the BA and the LLB. And sometimes I feel like people don't realise that you actually need an LLB to be a solicitor. Some people look at the BA and just see law next to it and think, oh, I'll do that and become a solicitor, and then they don't realise, like, oh God, it needs to be an actual LLB, which can be a bit of a stumbling block. So when you were at college and you were picking your universities, going through the whole UCAS application process, where did Stirling rank for you? Was it the main one, or was it more of a kind of backup option for you?
Stirling it wasn't my main one. My main one was Strathclyde. I think that was purely just because it was across the road from the college, so it would just be the same amount of travelling, basically the same routine that I was already in. But Stirling was kind of second and third, and the reason why it was so high up on the list was because it's such a small university, and I felt like I would get that lecturer-student relationship like I got in the college, where they were really focused on helping you learn. You weren't like a little fish lost in a big massive sea of other people.
That was the same for me. Stirling wasn't my first choice. I've tried to go to Strathclyde to do the Scotland and English law LLB, right, because I wanted to dual qualify and maybe perhaps move down to England to just have that as a second option. But for some reason, they didn't want me, so fair enough. but yeah, Stirling is a great university. Like you said, I was surprised when I got there, and I went in with the same thinking as you about the kind of student lecturer relationship, and it's a smaller law school, and you do have that kind of more personal aspect, which is a really big drawing point for a lot of people because, like you say, when you go to the bigger ones like Strathclyde or the University of Glasgow, there's a lot more students there, and it's harder to kind of stand out and have more of a personal aspect when you're
Yeah.
speaking to lecturers and in your seminars and stuff. So I think that's a really good selling point for the University of Stirling.
When I applied to change to the LLB, um, I was in contact with Tickers Little, so as you know, she's the head of the LLB, and she was in contact with me every single day through email, checking how my progress was going, if I wanted any help with doing any statements or anything to the admissions to the university to change degree. So I did feel like she was really on my side, and she really
Mhm.
did care about me changing degree.
Yeah, that's amazing that you had that personal aspect from, like you say, the head of the law school. So massive respect to Tikas for taking the time out because she must be she must be really busy. So it
Yeah,
obviously shows how important the students are for the lecturers here at the University of Stirling. So fair play to them.
definitely.
So just on that kind of personal aspect with your lecturers, have you had that to its full effect during the whole home learning period, or do you feel like it's been maybe a bit restricted, or have they been even more helpful through email?
I would say that they have tried to be more helpful during through email. I think they have gave definitely 110% to try and make sure everyone knows what they're doing and everyone's on track. But I genuinely do think there is still a lack of that relationship when you don't actually engage with someone face to face and physically in their presence. Then I think that there's always going to be a lack of that relationship because you're just communicating through a screen and technology. You don't actually physically engage with one another.
Yeah, and sometimes it's hard to forget that because I mean I've been on the committee for a couple of months now, and there's only I believe one person on the committee that I've met in real life, and I've sat in multiple Zoom meetings with them, and you get to know them, and you kind of forget I've never met this person in real life. Do you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
definitely.
You do get lost in that. So something we didn't mention at the start is that you're living in halls right now,
Yeah.
which obviously must be tough during the current climate, which we'll get onto in a minute, but just going back a bit, was that something you always wanted to do even before the coronavirus hit? Was that always something in your plans to go to university and live the full university experience in the university accommodation?
No, it definitely wasn't. When I first moved to university, well, I could drive and have my own car, and I thought, oh, this will great. This will be great. I'll drive there every day, and I'll drive home. And then, as soon as the winter hit, well, I'm from a small village near Lanark, so basically, when there's 1 centimetre of snow, I can't get out unless I've got a tractor. So there was no chance that I was getting to university. And I also felt like I was missing out on a lot as well when I stayed home because I'd be in lectures and seminars, and my friends would be like, "Oh, let's go to Tingle, let's go to Foo Bar," and I kind of couldn't because I had to go home, and I felt like I was missing out on the social aspect as well. And obviously the weather, that was a big concern. So I decided to move up, and I am so glad I did.
I mean, I feel quite bad for you because you obviously had that first year in your BA when everything was normal. Coronavirus wasn't even a thought at the time. All
Yeah,
your friends are going out. You're having to go back to near Lanark, like you said, when they're all going out having fun.
yeah.
And then when you do move up,
And
coronavirus hit, and you can't even go out. It's like
I know,
it's
could
pretty
this not have happened
unfortunate.
last year when I wasn't actually here?
Yeah, I
I
know,
know.
I know. So when you were moving into the halls, and obviously at this point, coronavirus is in full swing.
Hmm.
Were you scared? Were you nervous? Were you apprehensive about moving in? Because obviously it's such an uncertain time. And how were you really feeling when you're driving from Lanark with all your stuff in your car and you're moving into your flat for the first time?
Oh, I probably like cried my eyes out for about 90% of the journey because all I was thinking about is, oh my goodness, when's the next time I'm going to see my mum and dad and my gran and papa, and when I'm actually next going to be back in Lesmahago. And although it is only about a 40-minute drive, it's such a big distance in terms of coronavirus restrictions and different lockdowns and different areas and things. And I was really scared that what if we get locked down and I'm just stuck in my accommodation room? It's a bit like, oh goodness. And then I was also worried about what the people in my flat were going to be like and whether I would go on with them, or because that would just make things 10 times worse if I didn't go on with them.
Mhm.
Thankfully, we all got on really, really well, so we have made the most of it.
Well, that's really good that you get along with them because,
Yeah,
like you say, I can't imagine if you get stuck with people that you're not particularly on good terms with, shall we say.
Yeah.
and you have to live with them pretty much 24/7 when you're trying to
Oh
study
goodness, yeah.
in your room, and you've got obviously the communal areas in the kitchen and the bathrooms and stuff. That would be absolutely awful at the best of times. Never mind when you're actually stuck in
Yeah,
a flat
definitely.
and you can't go anywhere to even escape that sort of atmosphere. So how were your first few days? Were they fine? How was it meeting people for the first time? Was there, I'm interested to know, was there like any sort of kind of holding back from anyone? And because normally when you meet someone, you might have like a handshake or like going for a cuddle or something. And obviously during Corona, it was like, oh, I don't know if can we go to each other's rooms? Can we really be in the kitchen at the same
Um,
time? Like, how did that go at the start?
well, at the start, there's a girl in my flat who's from Canada, so she actually had to quarantine in her room, for 2 weeks. So we didn't really see her. She sometimes popped in the kitchen, but I think she was a bit like, "Oh goodness, I need to stay back from yous." And there was a couple of people from Ireland as well who were kind of on the same boat, but yeah, there wasn't the usual like hugging and all of that carry on. So it did make it a little bit awkward because you were just a bit like, "Oh, I don't know what to do." But
Yeah.
it has got better, definitely. And we are all really friendly now. So we've all been watching I'm a Celebrity together in in the communal area. So that's been good.
Well, that's good that he's managed to do some sort of social aspect. Have you
Yeah.
managed to get out anywhere and do anything remotely, kind of normal uni student life? I know the clubs are shut and the pubs have been shut recently as well, but have you managed to do anything really off campus?
Well, it was my birthday on the 1st of October. So we booked a table and went to Kilted. We had the right number of people for the amount of people we could have at a table, so that was good. And that was kind of our first proper kind of night where we all did get together a lot because that was only a couple of weeks after we moved in. So I think that was quite a good icebreaker for us. Because obviously when people get a little bit of drink in them, they do become more confident. So that was good for us. But apart from that, we've done nothing. There's nothing to do.
Yeah, I know, because we were speaking on the committee meeting on Tuesday, just gone there, about how normally when you move into your uni flat, you'll have that kind of initial awkwardness, but then you'll go on a night out in your first couple of nights, and people will normally relax once they've had a couple of drinks, and it becomes
Yeah,
easier. You've got a talking point like, oh, look what happened last night, and you can build from that. But if everyone's not even getting to go anywhere, it's like, well, what do we really talk about? So it's good that you've landed with people that you get along with,
yeah, definitely.
because like we said, that would be absolutely awful being stuck on campus, because the campus is quite isolated from the rest of Stirling. Like there's not really anywhere to escape if you're on the campus, and you're just really stuck there, really. So yeah, that's the social aspect aside. Moving on to the university aspect, you're studying the LLB. How did your first few classes go? Was everything going smoothly? Was the technology good? How did you feel? Was it all on Zoom? I assume it'd be like on conferences for our classes.
Yeah, some were on conferences, some were through Teams. So the first couple of times it was a nightmare because nobody had the links for Teams, nobody could get onto conferences, and I was panicking. I thought, oh my goodness, what's going to happen if I miss it, or if I'm late by 10 seconds or something, I'm going to get thrown off the course. And obviously, we were getting all these emails through with slides that had been put up on Canvas for us to start taking notes, and there was just so much at once. So the first few days of the course actually starting were just totally hectic. I think it was just getting used to the whole online routine as well, and how to actually set everything up and be organised, because it's totally different from when you're actually face to face learning.
And how did you find it initially in terms of trying to focus in your flat? Did you manage to get to the library at all? Have you just been doing most of your studying in your room?
I've not been to the library yet. I'm just doing most of the studying in my room. Sometimes I feel like it's better than others. If I get right into it, I can get on a good roll. But other times it's just, I mean, my bed's just there, so I'm like, oh, I'll just go for a wee nap. So it's really difficult. I kind of like to separate my work from my free time, and I feel like when you're just in your room and in the flat, or even at your house, you can't actually separate that because it's all just happening in the same environment. So it's really difficult.
Yeah, I'm the exact same as you. I struggle to kind of differentiate when I'm studying at home, because there's a couch behind me, the bed's not far away. If you're feeling tired, it's like, just go lie down or just chill on
Yeah,
your half an hour, and then it becomes an hour, 2 hours, and then you've got the waking up from the nap and you're groggy and you're trying to get back to normal, and it's hard, and it really really is hard. And I sympathise with everyone that's going through it, particularly in halls as well. So we've discussed the first few classes. So moving on a few weeks, because I feel like the weeks will move really, really fast. When I was in first year, it was only last year after all. I felt like we just started bedding in, to like contract and dialect, and you're just getting used to your seminars, and then before you know it, the coursework is due and you've got to write your first essays on the LLB. So how did you find that process?
Oh goodness, I feel like I've blinked in its assignment and exam dates, and I feel like I've just moved in. I think because I've not actually been to the university campus and I've not been in seminar classrooms or in lecture theatres, and I've not actually seen any of my lecturers or seminar tutors in real life. I feel like I'm just kind of getting prepared just now for it actually starting. And just as you say, before you know it, you're having to write assignments and studying for exams, and it's a lot.
So did you manage to do your essays okay? Was it a struggle? How were you feeling confident about it?
I managed to do them okay. But I was as confident as I could be. I think that's another issue. Like I think with it being online, is usually you would ask your seminar tutor a question when you seen him in person, and then it would be a back and forward conversation in person that would last 2 minutes. But when you're communicating with someone over email, they don't always answer really quickly, so it goes on for a few days. Um, so and then things just start to get lost, and you lose track of where you are. Really, you don't really have a quick fix of anything.
Yeah, and I mean, normally when you have your face-to-face seminars, you could always kind of hang back until the end and discuss something with your seminar tutor. Whereas now, when everything's on Teams or Zoom or conferences or whatever you're using, it's all very much okay, guys. See you later, and then the lecturer leaves the call, and you're like,
Yeah,
oh, maybe speak to you, and then you try and email them, and it's near impossible to get like a one-to-one conference
yeah,
session with
definitely.
planning it in advance. So it does make it difficult to kind of get that personal aspect and get that, you know, your answer or your questions answered. So like I say, it's all just very difficult for you. And I really do sympathize with all of the first years, especially because trying to adjust to an LLB degree is hard enough when it's real life.
Yeah,
Never mind when
definitely.
you're stuck in your flat or in your house or wherever you may be. So how is the exam prep going? I think we're roughly a couple of weeks, few weeks away from the exam.
Yeah, yeah, the timetable just got released the other day, so my exams are on the 9th and the 11th. So
Oh,
the exam prep is going okay, and going back to what we were talking about earlier, with the City of Glasgow College, I feel they're going okay because I already have quite a good foundation knowledge of first year from the college. So I am feeling more confident and comfortable about the exams, I think, than I would have been if I didn't have any knowledge beforehand. Some days are better than others exam prepping. I've been trying to make little flashcards with the cases and things like that just to get them into my head. And I know it's online and it's open for 24 hours, but I still just want to know what I'm talking about and have a good grip and good resources ready for me.
yeah, I know. And I remember when I adjusted to my 24-hour exams last year, it's a very weird experience to sit there and know you've got 24 hours to answer an exam paper. And of course, it makes it easier the fact that it'll be open book. Obviously, they're not going to make you
Uh-huh.
film yourself when you're not using your notes or whatever. So it's easier from that aspect. But like we say, with all the kind of struggles of home learning, it's not really that much different. Of course, the time's better and the fact you can use your notes is better, but it doesn't make the prep any easier in
No.
terms of motivation and kind of working your way around that. So as we stand right now and we're heading into the exam period, would you say that you regret moving into halls? Do you kind of wish you'd stayed home and saved that money, or are you just grateful for the experience as a whole?
I would say that I'm grateful for the experience as a whole. I definitely think that moving into halls during the current situation, it has really made me give myself a little bit of a shake. That I do actually need to take charge of studying. I do actually need to take charge of my notes, and I do need to do things for myself. And I've not just got my mum there to run behind me and do everything for me.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that I moved into halls. I think as well when you're in the environment where other people are studying as well, it kind of makes you want to study more. So yeah, I would definitely say that I'm glad I've moved up again.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just one of those things where obviously hindsight's a great thing, and you might look at it right now and think, would it be better at home? But ultimately, you're not going to know how it would have went if you were studying from home. You're never going to know how hard it was, how easy it was. So the best way to be, like you say, is just be grateful for where you are and just take as many positives from the experience as you can. So we're coming up to Christmas. Are you going to get home for Christmas? Okay. I know it's ever changing week on week, but the plans so far, as they stand right now, you're going to get there okay? Christmas with the family?
Yeah, well, I've got my car up at the university with me, so I'm hoping that I can just drive home. I mean, it is only 40 minutes down the motorway, so I am really hoping, and I'm really thankful that I do have that opportunity to go home because as I was saying, the people in my flat, well, one girl's from Canada, so I don't think there's any chance that she's getting home, and the people from Ireland, I think that's quite shaky as well. So I'm grateful that I can get home. So unless things change.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's ever changing, not even just week on week, but day on day. You
Oh,
never know
definitely.
what's going to happen. I mean, we're going into tier 4 lockdown in Stirling tomorrow. I mean, I just went and did some of my Christmas shopping in Livingston today, which is also going into tier 4, which came out of nowhere. I mean, there's kind of rumblings about it, but the fact that 11 council districts are moving into tier 4 is just like, wow. It just shows you how different it can be, because we had like Eat Out to Help Out and everyone's been encouraged to go to restaurants, and now a couple of months later it's restaurants close again. So it's very much up and down. It's so hard to predict. And honestly, my sincerest sympathies to your flatmates who can't get home, because that must be one of the worst experiences you can go through, because I'd imagine this is their first Christmas away from home. You're in a foreign country, coronavirus is bad enough. So that must be absolutely awful. So sincerest sympathies to your flatmates who won't get home for Christmas. So just to wrap up, Hayley, I want to ask you, is there any advice that you have for any fellow students, whether it be first years particularly or just in general, who are currently living in uni accommodation and who are perhaps struggling to adjust to home learning?
What I would say is I would always try and set specific times during the day where you do your uni work and when you have your free time. So whether that be go out for a walk or socialise in the communal area with your other flatmates, I've found that has made it much easier for me. Because I know if I'm sitting, I've only got 2 hours to go. I say, oh, only 2 more hours, and then I can go into the kitchen and talk to other people, and it has really helped me get going with the uni work and get up to speed with it.
If you live on campus, you've got a great surrounding area to walk around. You've got the lake, you've got the bridge, you've got a lovely kind of area to walk around, a couple of kilometres, I think it is, or a few kilometres to walk around the lake. It's beautiful. So get out, get some fresh air. And like you say, I think you said at the mental wellbeing event, you work 10 till 4, right?
Yeah, I usually do the uni work 10 to 4, Monday to Friday. And then every other time, well, I usually go to the gym, but that's not happening anymore. So yeah, I'll probably just be going for walks or runs, just trying to do as much exercise and good things that I can do.
Yeah, I think structuring your day is a big thing to try and do, because like we said at the mental wellbeing event, it's easy to kind of feel guilty when it gets to 6, 7 o'clock at night and you're sitting there maybe just in a bit of relaxing and think, oh, my computer's just over there and my laptop's just, and maybe I should just jump on and do some seminar work. But realistically, if you were at university and you were going into your classes, it's easier to kind of have that distinction where you travel in, or you go into your classes, you have your lectures, you go to your seminars, maybe go to the library for a bit, and you come back, have your dinner, and you don't feel as guilty to just kind of chill out, but you feel like you earned it. Whereas now you're doing it all at home. The atmosphere, your surrounding area is not really changing. It's a lot easier to feel guilty for not studying. So I would just echo what you said and try and structure your day, try and stick to it. Don't feel too guilty when you're not studying after dinner. It happens, and you need to have time for yourself. Mental well-being, like we said.
It's one of the most important things to find the correct work-life, study-life balance. It is really crucial, and I think it makes you feel better and healthier as a person.
Yeah, you definitely need to take time for yourself. It can't all be go, uni work 24/7. You have to actually do things that help you relax, help you chill out, and take your mind away from it all. Otherwise, you'll just go insane. So yeah, thank you very much, Hayley. That wraps us up. Thank you so much for coming on. It's been a pleasure to speak to you. It's great to have an insight from a first year, because like I say, I can't imagine what it must be like studying your first year on the LLB in halls, in some sort of lockdown and these limited restrictions. So yeah, thank you again for coming on. It's been great to speak to you, and all the best with your exams when they come up.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. I've really enjoyed speaking to you.
Thank you very much for listening to another episode of our podcast. If you like what you hear, please follow us on your podcast platform of choice to ensure that you never miss an upload. To keep up to date with us, you can follow our Instagram page, which is Star Law Society. Additionally, our Twitter is @_Star Law Society. In the meantime, it's goodbye from me, and I'll speak to you again very soon.